Hello, yogis. Today, what I thought I would talk about is sequencing a restorative yoga class. So, I've got 3 points for you and a quote that I want to read from Mama's new book. Hello from Jakarta, Indonesia, where I am this morning. I was working on the outline for my next restorative yoga teacher training. I'm always updating and adding and reincorporating what I learn every time I teach. And especially I learn so much from the questions that come in from students. I love questions while I teach. So one of the things about sequencing a restorative class, number one, teach fewer poses. As I travel around the world, one of my favorite things is to go take a class, sort of any random restorative yoga class if I can find it, or else just a flow class, because I kind of think of it like taking the temperature. You know, when the pool man comes and puts his sort of chemistry kit in the swimming pool and tests the chlorine. That's kind of how I think of taking classes as I travel around and getting a sense for what people are teaching. In addition to taking classes, I get a sense from the questions people ask. And what I notice is that in a typical 90-minute, or some people are teaching 75, even 60-minute restorative classes, many of you are teaching 10 poses, 8 poses. Any of you who are on live, hi Jonathan, say if that's true for you, if you feel the instinct to teach more poses. There's often this, I have the thought, I know it because I have the thought. It's what I call the more mantra, needing to give more. It's not enough for our students that we give 3 poses. But I'm here to tell you, in 90 minutes, definitely in 75, definitely in 60 minutes, 3 poses. 3 poses. Teach fewer poses. You are giving your students this phenomenal gift of silence and spaciousness. In our crazy, crowded urban lives today, we don't have space to breathe and to be with ourselves and to enjoy the pleasure of our own company. So, point number 1, teach fewer poses. 3 is what I do max in 60 minutes, 75. If I have 90, maybe I'll add what I call this great Austrian-German word, schnick-schnack, a little schnick-schnack at the beginning or the end. So schnick-schnack would include maybe half dog pose at the wall, something preparatory, or even at the end, 8 minutes of pranayama, 5 minutes of meditation. People are craving the sensation of stillness. They don't need more movement. We have so much movement in our lives. I was just out for a cup of coffee, and it's crazy that I won't hold it up and see if you guys can see. I mean, the street here in Jakarta, this is supposed to be a quiet street on the way to my hotel. This is a quiet street. This is the urban environment. And even if you live in a city that doesn't look like that, lots of motorbikes, you live in a city where there's hustle and bustle and cars and input, and then we put the phone in front of ourselves nonstop. So that is my appeal to offering your students less. It's a minimalist practice in teaching. Point number 2 of 3, more silence. Say fewer words. From the moment they walk into the classroom, which is the space you can control, or even the studio if you're there alone, I'm interested in winding my students, holding their hand and helping them move from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance. Sandy, hi. I'm in Jakarta. I'm in my hotel room in Jakarta. So this process of moving from sympathetic to parasympathetic, words, language, talking, so stimulating. And we're also oversaturated with these inputs. So part of silence, here's an idea for you that I've been playing with. Silence is not just the absence of noise or the absence of words, but silence is the absence of agitation. So do whatever you need to do before you begin to greet your students. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of getting yourself centered and quiet if you can. And it's almost like you're tuning your own instrument to this frequency of silence, so that when your students begin to enter the space for the restorative class, they can begin to tune into your silent frequency. So that's point number 2, more silence. Okay, point number 3. This is a big one. This is the last one. And then I'm going to read you a quote from Restore and Balance. Trust your students. That's point number 3. Trust your students. I hear so often resistance from restorative yoga teachers about teaching fewer poses. And what they so often say, it's so common, they say, but my students need more. They want more talking, or they need more poses. A wonderful woman said to me in Paris, but no, darling, this is Paris. Like, the students are so sophisticated and they're used to receiving so much that they need more. And, I'm saying that with a smile. We all have that thought from time to time that our students need more, but it's so often about us as the teacher that I'm uncomfortable. I'm not yet in tune with my own spacious inner silence, or not in tune in that day, or not as in tune this week, this month. That's the process of teaching restorative yoga, is that we become more silent. And then we're able to trust our students that they're having an interesting and authentic and healing experience. Yes, Teresa. Yes, that's what's going on. And so I encourage you as a mantra to say, I trust my students. I trust that these are intelligent, wise beings who have found their way into this room. And that even if they have a hard time with the silence in the moment, it's overall a nourishing experience for them. So in conclusion, what I often think about, because I don't want to keep you here too long, what I often think about is there's a kind of fundamental disconnect between the way we're teaching yoga now and what would be perhaps most nourishing for our students. And it has to do with our kind of capitalist system that we're all embedded in. When I go to take a yoga class, I go and I pay my money. And as a consumer who's used to doing that all day long, I go and I pay my money and I am ready for my treat. And it's a kind of exchange. It's a trade. But the problem with that in yoga is that yoga, sometimes the treats appear as hardship in the beginning. So what I see happening, I see the tendency in myself, and I see it as I travel, that because people have paid money, we have the instinct, now I'm here to give you your treat. And we always want it to feel good. And we begin, as even unconsciously as teachers, to begin to turn our teaching towards what's popular or what we think the students think they want, which is something, I love this quote. I always think of this quote in relation to this topic from Steve Jobs, who supposedly said, Henry Ford, the kind of pioneer inventor perhaps of the automobile, Steve Jobs from Apple is supposed to have said, if Henry Ford had asked his customers what they wanted, They would have said a faster horse. So we need to listen to our students, of course, but it's a dance. And part of our job is offering our students something that is pushing them their boundaries, not boundaries, not the word I want to say, but helping them stretch their limits. And we think so often, it's so easy for us in yoga to think, oh, we're encouraging them to stretch their boundaries, their limits in terms of their hamstring flexibility or their strength. Today we're going to try Bakasana or twisted Bakasana. We're going to, but what if we reframe that? And we have to, as restorative yoga teachers, to reframe that for ourselves, that the edge we're asking our students to look at, to examine, to play with, to be soft with within themselves is the amount of silence and stillness they're able to contain. Okay. It's so lovely that you're here with me live, those couple of you that are here. I really did this because I wanted to post it onto my page. The internet is magic. So, okay, in conclusion, before I turn off the broadcast, I want to share with you this quote, which I've just been loving, right from page 11, Roman numeral 11, the introduction of Mom's newest restorative book. Without a doubt, the need for such a practice is great in today's exhausting and time-pressured world. Countless studies show the ill effects of stress on the mind, body, and spirit. We all need a few minutes a day to disconnect, settle into ourselves, and rest in silence. Not only does this brief practice have the immediate effect of creating a calmer, more present mind, but it also has marked physical and psychological benefits like lowering blood pressure and elevating and stabilizing mood. Okay? Are you excited? Have I whipped you into a frenzy? Here were the 3 points. Fewer poses when you teach restorative. Number 1. Like 3 in an hour. Number 2, more silence. You don't need to talk during Shavasana. Give them 20 minutes to themselves. Number 3, trust your students. Okay? So, on that note, I'm going to get on my mat and do a little bit of asana before I go down to my hotel breakfast. I'm sending you all a big namaste across the skies. And we will talk again very soon. Bye now.